Anarchy. Going against authority, hierarchy, and order. If you have a message, believe in it. Enforce it. Post it on Facebook. But you have to be a legitimate badass to hijack a TV or radio station in order to get your point across. So today, we're going to count down 10 of the most insane and mysterious broadcast interruptions. The Kaluga Incident. During the 1970s and 80s, the USSR was dealt with a lot of hijackings due to the absence of any non-government broadcasting. On September 29, 1966, residents in the city of Kaluga were listening to the radio, enjoying a quote-unquote lively program of jazz. Suddenly, a voice interrupted the radio broadcast, announcing that the United States fired rockets armed with nuclear warheads towards Soviet cities. Citizens were angered that the alarm was a prank caused by an 18-year-old boy. Court officials confiscated the boy's transmitter and made him pledge that he would abandon amateur broadcasting.
The Zombie Message. On February 11, 2013, residents of Montana were startled to find an emergency broadcast reporting dead bodies rising from their graves. The bodies of the dead are rising from their graves and are attacking the living, the emergency announcer warned. Do not attempt to approach or apprehend these bodies, as they are considered extremely dangerous.
Civil authorities in your area have reported that the bodies of the dead are rising from their graves and attacking the living. Follow the messages on screen that will be updated as information becomes available. Do not attempt to approach or apprehend these bodies, as they are considered extremely dangerous.
Later that night, Michigan and New Mexico were met with similar messages, warning their viewers of zombie attacks. It was reported that the hacker apparently found a back door to the emergency alert system security, which allowed him to display the messages. The hacker was eventually found and arrested.
Mayday. On January 3, 2007, an Australian TV network had their broadcast interrupted by a chilling message. During their airing of the TV show Mayday, an audio loop of a man saying, "Jesus Christ, help us all, Lord," started playing. The audio looped for a solid 6 minutes. A spokesman for Channel 7 said it was not known how the section of audio came to be aired during the documentary, but denied it being a prank or a security breach. Later investigations revealed that the audio was actually from a videotaped news broadcast. It remains unknown whether the invading transmission was due to a glitch or something intentional. It remains unknown whether the invading transmission was due to a glitch or something intentional.
TV Solidarity. Solidarity was a Polish trade union that occurred in the 1980s that advocated for workers' rights and social change through means of civil resistance. Workers would go on strike, locking themselves into yards and dispatching emissaries throughout Poland to ask for support. In September of 1985, 4 astronomers at Poland's University of Torun used a home computer, a synchronizing circuit, and a transmitter to superimpose messages in support of the labor movement. The 2 slogans read, "Enough price increases, lies, and repressions. Solidarity Torun," and "It is our duty to boycott the election." The 4 men were caught and charged with possession of an unlicensed radio transmitter and publication of materials that would cause public unrest.
The 2006 Lebanon War. On July 12, 2006, Hezbollah soldiers infiltrated Israel and abducted 2 Israeli soldiers. Their leader would release the prisoners through indirect negotiations and trade, but all the Israelis were against the idea of discussing with terrorists. A war broke out between the 2, causing them to attack and invade the other. In the midst of the battle, Hezbollah's TV station Al Mana TV was hacked by Israel. They broadcasted anti-Hezbollah propaganda, such as showing their leader with crosshairs on his image and 3 gunshot sounds. A voice then appeared saying, "Your day is coming," and shouts of the Israeli Air Force destroying targets in Lebanon.
The Captain Midnight Incident. On April 27, 1986, the HBO television station was playing its regular broadcastings. At about 12:32 a.m., a man named John R. McDougal, also known as Captain Midnight, transmitted a signal onto the satellite that carried HBO. The message was in protest of their service rates and read, "Good evening, HBO, from Captain Midnight. $12.95 a month? No way. Showtime/movie channel, beware." John McDougal was an electrical engineer who was outraged at the network for overcharging their satellite customers. A week before the hijacking, McDougal successfully transmitted a color bar test pattern which overrided HBO's signal. HBO didn't mind too much. It only lasted for a few seconds and was played overnight when very few people were watching. As a result, the Hughes Communication Company threatened to shut down HBO's satellite signal after assuming the hijacker was some kind of terrorist. The FCC announced that the hijacker would face prosecutions, and even the FBI were called in to investigate. Nowadays, McDougal says he has no regrets about doing what he did, although he does wish his motivations were better understood, rather than it being interpreted as some terrorist attack.
Vrillon on Southern Television. On November 26, 1977, the Southern Television broadcast station was interrupted for a total of 6 minutes from someone who claimed to be a representative of an quote-unquote intergalactic association. The station was playing its regular evening news bulletin, with host Andrew Gardner reading out the news. Suddenly, Andrew's voice began to distort, and a buzzing, deep voice began to speak. The speaker called himself Vrillon and warned the viewers of an ominous yet frightening message.
This is the voice of Allah, representative of the Ashtar Galactic Command, speaking to you. For many years you have seen us as lights in the skies. We speak to you now to say the same as we have done to your brothers and sisters all over this, your planet Earth.
The message ended with the station's regular broadcasting of a Looney Tunes cartoon. Later that evening, the station apologized for what they described as a breakthrough in sound. None of the staff were aware of their broadcast being hijacked. Families all around Southeast England were stunned. Many panicked over the idea that aliens were communicating through television. As of now, the message is considered to be a hoax, though the hijacker's identity remains unknown.
WKCR. WKCR is Columbia University's own radio station. A 4chan user claimed that he was recording a musical performance from this station when he was met with something extremely odd. The post goes as follows. The weird stuff starts about 16 seconds in. Around 1995, I was about 15. I used to stay up late in my room listening to the radio on a boombox with an integrated tape recorder. I'd dial through the stations, and when I heard something interesting, I'd hit record for a while, and then move on. One night, I came across this. I don't think this was the beginning of a broadcast, but I caught a lot of it. Right at the end, the announcer says that the station I was tuned into was WKCR 89.9 New York. There are a bunch of names and dates in there, but I've never run into anything else like this.
G, brother Scott, Mark and Lisa, Anna's friend, my friend. February 1985, Frank
UVB 76. This irritating noise, also known as the buzzer, is a mysterious Russian radio signal. It has apparently been broadcasting since the late 1970s, the earliest known recording beginning in 1982. It has played non-stop from a radio station called UVB 76 for 4 decades and has only stopped buzzing 3 times. The earliest incident being on December 24th, 1997, just hours before Christmas. On this day, the buzzing stopped and a Russian voice came on and read a mixture of numbers and names. Since the new millennium, voice messages became more and more frequent. 4chan was also on the case, discussing what the puzzling message could mean. What's even freakier is that listeners soon realized that the buzzing noise is apparently being played through a live microphone, rather than just being a pre-made recording. This is due to conversations that can sometimes be heard in the backgrounds, although they are difficult to decipher. The most widely believed theory is that this message was meant as a way to communicate with spies, without the message being tracked or intercepted. Speculations and theories aside, after all these years, it still remains a mystery.
The Max Headroom Incident. As what is probably the creepiest television hack of all time, the Max Headroom Incident was a television signal hijacking that occurred twice in Chicago, Illinois. The first time taking place during the WGN TV station. During a sports report about the Chicago Bears, the screen went black for 15 seconds, before showing a person wearing a Max Headroom mask and sunglasses. He was moving erratically, seemingly mocking the viewers or the station. Later that same day, WTTW met the same fate. During their broadcast of Doctor Who, the show was interrupted by the same Max Headroom man who was screaming, moaning, and laughing. He began doing all kinds of random acts, like holding up a Pepsi soda can or getting spanked by what appears to be a fly swatter. The hijacking went on for about a minute and a half, due to no engineers being on duty during the time of the incident. Once word spread, they quickly got on the case and managed to shut it down. To this day, no one really knows why or how this happened. Even more strange, no one knows who did this. The Wyoming Incident. One of the most popular television hijackings is the infamous Wyoming Incident. The story goes that this hacker managed to interrupt broadcasts from a local channel to air his own video. The video contained disembodied human heads and very ominous messages like, "You cannot hide forever," and "We stand at the door." Another noteworthy feature is the audio, a strange frequency with high and low beats. It has apparently caused headaches, hallucinations, and even vomiting to the residents who originally saw it. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like down below and subscribe for more. Shoutouts to writer Junkie for writing an article about my very channel. Check it out in the description down below. Thanks for watching.